I make these objects because I need to. There's a flame there, and I don't feel complete if I'm not making these things. I want to. I need to. It's who I am. I'm Nick Taylor. We're up here in Fort Bragg, California, in Mendocino County. I'm a local flavor. I'm a sculptor here. I've been making objects since I was just out of high school, and that quickly transitioned into making sculpture. I didn't know anything about sculpture at that point, but I realized I really enjoyed making objects. And the early stuff was all metal. I eventually went from assembling things to carving, and then I've been carving from single chunks of wood for probably 20 years now. I'm inspired by the environment that I'm in now that I'm not sure I ever was while living in an urban life, in an urban setting. I now live out here in the woods, surrounded by trees. I'm collecting the material itself. I'm cutting the trees down themselves and taking them through all the steps from life to rebirth. So I'm using chainsaws early in my process to rough things in, to get rid of bulk material, to start establishing kinds of lines that I want to see in the piece. And I'm always looking for the rhythm in a piece. And I don't know much about music, but I often think in terms of music and a rhythm, variations within a rhythm. So I bring things into the studio once I find them manageable without my forklift. In this particular case, I'm carving a piece of wood and shaping it, but I'm also shaping the spaces in between what I'm carving. As I assemble things and remove material, I'm every bit as aware of what's happening around that piece of wood as I am the wood itself. The spaces in between, just as important. There's a constant learning and a constant exploration with every piece. I mean, I have a notion, usually, as to where I want to go with a particular piece, or there's something I respond to with a particular piece, but I never know exactly what the result will be. I might draw some images just to record an idea, but I'm not sketching these out. So I suppose in all the pieces, in one form or another, there's a sexuality to them. I think in most cases, all of the pieces have some reference to both male and female. My first thought is yin-yang. You know, you've got this balance that goes on. You have both genders involved in any given piece, in any one piece. Some pieces might be more male in their energy, some might be more female in their energy, but I think all of them embody both aspects. I want them to have a sensuality, as well as, I guess, a sexuality. It's fundamental to our existence. There was a 10-year stint where I was without a studio, and all of my belongings, all of my sculpture, all my tools were in storage for 10 years. And it was like having both my arms cut off. I was doing some pretty cool things, but I wasn't doing what I felt compelled to do. So one of the jobs I had was working on Cloudgate, or commonly known as the Bean, what's out in Chicago. I worked on that for over 4 years. I think the full construction of it took just about 5 years. I did an awful lot of prototyping for it, a lot of building of the equipment for actually constructing the piece, because there wasn't a direct path. No one knew exactly how we were going to build something on that scale, to that degree of accuracy, with that kind of finish. No one had done that in the world. So on site, I would have been the site supervisor of it. As a sculptor, I'm visual and I'm also very tactile. I want textures. I love to touch things, and I want people to want to go in and touch these things. I want them to be drawn to them because of the textures that are happening. You want to pull the viewer all the way around a piece. You don't want to stand on one side of it and think you know what's happening on the other side. You want to walk all the way around this thing and be surprised as you move your way in and around it. Why make sculpture if it doesn't do that? Why make a piece of dimensional stuff when you think you know what's on the back side? Make it flat. As pieces get bigger, I want you to be able to get through them and hopefully climb on them. I've had enough hardship in my life that I don't want to recreate it. You know, I want things that are beautiful in my life, so I hope I'm making things that are beautiful. And when I say beautiful, I'm not talking pretty, because I'm not into pretty. I want something that's beautiful and that moves you, and you're drawn to time and time again. And I suppose even though they're abstract, every single piece is some sort of self-portrait. How can it not be?